What's going on, everybody? Back today with another little video. Do something a little bit different today. I'm out here in my shop tonight. Actually, it's in the morning, but about 2 o'clock in the morning. As most of y'all know, I don't sleep at night, so. But it's been a while since I made a video. Just had a lot of things going on. As most of y'all know, about 5 months ago, I lost my dad. Last week, lost my stepmom. Saturday before last, ended up, she had a stroke, and spent a couple days in the hospital, and she's just so tired that she just couldn't go on anymore. I know we miss her here, but like my stepsister or my sister, we wouldn't have her back because she's in a lot better place. She's definitely in a lot better place than we are. But what I'm doing tonight is I'm making a plaque. Most of y'all know that I also do woodworking and stuff like that. So something I haven't done in a while is routed any signs or anything like that. So I'm gonna turn y'all around here and show you what I'm working on. Try to show you a little bit how I do it, and try to get some video of me actually routing the signs. So but anyway, I'm gonna turn y'all around here. Alright, so this is what I'm working on. Basically what I do is take whatever font and the style font and everything like that, and I'll put it on the computer. I use Word, and then I print it out. And what this is, I'm calling it a mother's love. It's in memory of my stepmom, and I'm going to be giving this to my sister. So, but basically this is actually a song. My sister, she played it at my sometimes you may hear me say stepmom, sometimes you may hear me say mother. Here, I'll go ahead and turn y'all around. I'll give you a little bit of background. My stepmom I met, of course, at the funeral. My sister asked me to do give like a little speech of about her. So one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. I told her, I said I don't know if I can hold up to it. I don't know if I can get through the first word, but it was tough, but I made it. But part of what I gave in that speech is I met my stepmother whenever I was 13. Her name was Carolyn. Pretty much the entire time I've known her, over 30 years. Sorry about all the lights. Like I said, I'm in my shop. So I've always called her Carolyn. After my dad passed, if y'all remember, whenever I talked to y'all about whenever my dad passed and everything, is guys, don't take your family for granted. Don't sit there and say, oh, we'll do it tomorrow, or we'll do it the next day or next week or something like that. Guys, we are not promised tomorrow. So, but basically, after my dad passed, between myself, my sister, my aunt, we would go over there every single day. And at night, if I was around, then we'd go over there, eat supper. If I was around, if I wasn't um, out pulling campers and everything, then every morning I'd go over and make her coffee. So, but um, every day, whenever I would get ready to leave, I'd give her a hug, and I'd say, I'd tell her, give her a hug. I'd say, I love you, mother. And y'all might hear the radio in the background. Hopefully, won't get copyrighted on this mess. I got one of my videos before, they tagged me or something, got a copyright. I don't know what for, but they did. But anyway, after I left one day, she looked at my sister. She said, "Did he just call me mother?" And she said, "He did." And she said, "Well," she got a big old smile on her face. She said, "Well, that's just fine with me." But so sometimes you may hear me say stepmother, sometimes you may hear me say mother. But anyway, that's what's behind that. But turn y'all back around here. Anyway, this is a song that my sister had picked out. It's called "When God Made You My Mother," and that's just like the chorus of it right there. But y'all can go look that song up. It's a beautiful song. So then that's a flag. I gotta put it up and everything. That's a flag I made. My dad, he was in the Navy, and I'm gonna add a little bit to it. I'm gonna put his name and the date that he passed and stuff like that in memory of on that one, and then I'm gonna hang it up in here somewhere. So, but anyway, let me just go and cut this radio off. I got it cut down, but it's still coming on. But anyway, what I do is print this out. These are a little bit bigger. I made one on a 8.5 by 11 sheet, just a regular old sheet of paper, and printed it off. But these letters was too small. I was using basically a fine detailed bit, but it just wasn't showing up too well. Here, I'll show you. Oh yeah, I'm getting the light a little bit here. It just, as you can see, how small it was, it just wasn't doing too well. So I put it on a bigger. I'm using cedar for this project. Sometimes I use pine, but on this one I'm using cedar. And so this is a 8.5 by 14 sheet. I got 2 sheets, and basically what I do is I just put it on here, even it all out to where it'll fit. And then this is just a small sheet. I couldn't find my bigger sheets, but just a piece of carbon paper. And basically I take painter's tape, tear off a couple pieces, put it on the sides and everything to hold it down to keep the paper from moving. Then I slide that carbon paper up underneath it. I trace it out. And then, I don't know if y'all can see this. That's basically what you come up with. So I probably had to go back and sort of brighten these up just a little bit, make them a little bit brighter, so that way I won't mess it up when I start to route. Got some of this darker wood. This wood right here, it's got I think it brings out a little bit of character, but still, it's this is an old piece that I had. I got a slab and I cut it off. and it's been out in the weather a little bit. I'd also, I think I had a shelf or something I made out of that slab, and I'd put polyurethane and stuff on it. So I went back and sanded all that stuff down. With my sander is starting to act up on me, but anyway, so I take this, and then to keep it from sliding around, I just got this little stuff you get at Harbor Freight or wherever. I'll just set it on that, and that'll keep it from sliding whenever I'm sitting there routing. Then I got two different routers. I got a palm router, which is this little DeWalt right here. I need to get another base because it's cracked, but it still does the job. I got another router. Yeah. Oh, Harbor Freight. It's a little bit bigger. So it does the job, but the smaller stuff, I like using that one. And then I don't know what all the names of these bits are, but there's another detailed bit. Some of these are a little old. I need to get some new ones because they're a little bit dull, so they'll won't give a real clean cut. So I have to go back and clean it up. But that right there is an 1/8 of an inch cut, and I got several of those. Of course, you got stuff like your round over bit, things like that. So then I got one. That right there is for, like, on the back, you'll cut out a slot to where you can hang it on the wall. So, like the screw slot. And then I may not be able to, normally, as you can see on my flag, I do, one of my little signatures is torching. So, but I don't think I got any propane in my torch, so I may not be able to do this one, but I am going to put lacquer on it. And then I'll come back, and then I'll heat this up and burn that in on the back. And basically the name of my business for woodworking is Goodwin's Woodworks, WURX. But anyway, I'm making this video a little bit long, so I'm gonna cut you off here and get all this stuff set up, and then try to show y'all some routing. Okay. Alright, so guys, that's basically what it turned out, that part right there. Basically, you just get your depth, find your depth. You probably need maybe, I don't know, depending on what you're doing, 1/16 to an 1/8 of an inch deep. Like I said, just depending on what all you're going to do, but I just routed out. This right here's bigger font than what this is, so I'm gonna have to be really, really careful because I don't have a bit in between this size and the one for the detailed. So I'm gonna have to be really, really careful. You can either raise the depth up, you can pick up on the router just a little bit. So that way you'll try to get everything done and not see it. Sometimes on this smaller stuff, see the E right there, that little section right there, that right there is probably going to chip out, and that's okay. But I mean, if you had a smaller detailed bit to do it, then maybe not. But anyway, but I'm gonna set y'all back up and we're gonna keep on going. Alright guys, y'all pretty much get the idea. I'm not gonna bore y'all with doing the whole thing. Plus I gotta go through and I'll turn y'all around here in just a second and I'll show you what I was doing whenever I got up. I thought it got it, but apparently my phone wanted to do an update, so it didn't catch it. But I'm gonna turn y'all around. So like the E and the W right there, as you can see, I'm getting in this darker part of the color, so my tracing is not showing up too well, so I got to go back and you can see it a little bit. That's a W, so basically that word's who, so it'll say he knew who I needed, or who I need. So I gotta go back and basically brighten that up so that way I can cut it. So basically the biggest thing is take your time. If you're unsure, if you're getting inside that line, if it's not dark enough, pick the router up and look and make sure. If you need to, then darken the letters so that way you can stay inside the lines. Because I'm going to tell you, you don't want to get all the way to the end and then mess it up. That will make you mad. Because then you'll have to go back and redo the whole thing. But I'm going to darken some of these letters up and finish getting them routed out. Then basically what I do is whenever I get done with that, then I just turn y'all around again. So basically you can tape off some of the sections that's not routed, so that way you're not getting a lot of paint. But basically just take some spray paint. I use, let's see here, this right here is black, but I use Rust-Oleum and just spray paint primer. Anyway, this is gloss black, and what I'll do is probably more than likely I'll cover all this stuff up because I'm going to paint A Mother's Love. And then I'm also going to paint In Memory of Carolyn Goodwin. I'm going to paint that in yellow. Then I'll come back and I'll tape that off. And then I'm going to paint all this right here in black. And basically what it does is the paint will get down inside where you route it out. All them little letters right there. And then I'll come back with a sander and I'll sand off basically all the paint that got on the outside of that. The paint will still be inside those letters. And whenever you're routing, if you can't go that deep, then you just got to be, you don't want to spray a whole, you don't want to just coat the whole thing with a heavy coat, because then it's going to be thick and you're going to have to do a lot more sanding. So just take and just barely spray it, just enough to get inside those letters. Get all those done. And I'll try to show you that whenever I get ready to do it. But then, like I said, you let that dry, and then you come back with your sander, sand it all down. You may have to get a little small chisel or a little wire brush or something. You don't want to get one that's too rough, because then you're going to scratch the board. But to get just basically clean it up a little bit. So then whenever I get done with all that, it's all painted and sanded down, then I come back and then I put probably 3 or 4 coats of lacquer on it. But alright, we'll be back in just a little bit. Alright guys, we're back. It's the next day. Got a little bit busy yesterday, so I didn't get a chance to finish it. But and I didn't get a chance to, it was my fault. I done it before I even realized that I didn't even shoot no video of it. But I'm pretty much finished with it, routing it out, painting it, sanding it down and all that stuff. But I'll show you what I done. But I just want to show you something else too, that if you'll notice, I've already put I put polyurethane on it. And sometimes I use spray, sometimes I just use the brush. I use a foam brush. Sometimes it'll leave these bubbles. See all these bubbles right here? Well, those are going to dry. And then you're going to have to go back and you're going to have to sand them down. Alright, well, I'm going to show you another little solution to that. Alright, I'm going to set the camera up just right here, and I'm going to pick it back up. Alright, all I got is a torch. That's all you need. Alright, let me get my fingers out of the way here. Alright, whenever you do this, do not put the flame on the lacquer, because it will catch fire, because lacquer is flammable. So do not put it directly on it. Just let the heat do it. If I can get in here a little bit closer, you're going to see these bubbles disappear. Maybe not, but see, it just sort of flashed up a little bit. I got a little bit too close. Just let the heat do the job. Don't put the flame right on it, and don't leave it sitting in one spot. See, it just flashed up. Don't leave it sitting there too long. Just go back and forth. Yep. See? Got a little bit too close. Might have to go back and touch that side up. Just take my foam brush. Go with the grain. See all those bubbles? Maybe I'll try not to catch it on fire this time. It don't take much. You can probably use a heat gun too. But, which I have a heat gun, but I just got this right here out, so. See? All the bubbles are gone. Now you got a couple little imperfections right there. Now, if you want to, you can go back and do some little light sanding after it dries. Let it dry for, I don't know, several hours, maybe even a day if you got it. And then do like a real fine sandpaper. But that right there, using that heat, it gets them bubbles out. So therefore, you don't have to do as much sanding. Because before, you would have to sand it down real good to get all the bubbles out, get it nice and smooth. Go back and put another lacquer coat on it, smooth that out, and all that stuff. So with this, it's easier. So being on the back, I probably will not sand this down. On the front, I probably will. So I'm gonna go and turn turn the plaque over and then show you the finished project. All right, guys, there she is. See if I can get the light. Well, I may not be able to get the light out of the way without putting a glare, but anyway, maybe y'all can see that. I don't know. Getting too much of a shadow. But that's it. I'm going to give this to my sister in memory of my stepmother. So, like I said, it's a song. I'm not going to try to sing it, but but I'm calling it a mother's love. And it says, when God made you my mother, he knew who I'd need. When he picked you from the others, he could already see that you would be my hero and everything I want to be. When God made you my mother, he was being good to me. So that's guys, if you haven't listened to that song, go listen to it. It is a very beautiful song. Like I said, on this front, I still got to let that dry, and then so I come back. I'm gonna let it dry overnight. I'm gonna come back tomorrow and do a real light sanding on it with a real fine sandpaper, and then I come up back, put another coat on it, see how that does. If it does good, then I'll probably just leave it at that. If not, I let it dry some more. I give it one last sanding with real fine sandpaper, and just very lightly, and then maybe put a real small little light coat on it. This right here's got a pretty heavy coat, so that's one reason it's probably doing like that. But as you can see, most of it looks good. Most of it's just the light, the glare shining on it. But I think it turned out good. But anyway, what I done, I decided to go with blue instead of black. One, I didn't have enough black, and I think it turned out better. So, but anyway, routed it all out. You can use a shop vac. You can use air compressor. You can even use this brush right here, but it's better if you use a shop vac and an air compressor, to get all the dust and everything out. But what I do, you don't have to do it this way, but what I do is after I get done routing, then I will blow it off with an air compressor, and then I will take this torch, and then, because you're going to have places where whenever you was routing it out, it leaves them real fine, like, I guess, like little splinters or whatever. You don't want them showing up. And because sometimes they can fold over and get down in the letters, and whenever you paint, then eventually they'll pull back up. Now you got a bare spot. So what I do, if it's something real big, I take a chisel and I go along the edges and chisel all them pieces out and make it good and flush. If it's nothing too big, I take my torch and then I go over the letters. Just go back and forth, and then basically them little bitty old splinter pieces, they will actually burn away. So I do that. After I get that done, what I done is I taped up all the part that's blue, and then I just took my spray paint, sprayed it, and then like I said, just do it lightly, just enough to fill in the letters. You're gonna have to go sideways and back sideways, up, down, top. That way you get all the sides and everything. So got that done. Same thing on the bottom. Then you can either let it dry, or I'll show you another little trick here in just a minute. But after that's done, tape that off, and then I do the same thing with the blue. Let that dry for a few hours, and then you can use, here's a palm sander. That palm sander right there, it does okay, but I got this belt sander right here, and as you can see, you got that. Get y'all an eraser or whatever this thing is, turn it on, and then clean your belt off, and that way you save your belts. You won't be going through as many pieces of sandpaper and belts and everything. But so I done that. Now with a belt sander, you don't want to get carried away. I mean, you want to go over it enough and press down hard enough to get the paint off. But you do not want to press down too hard, because then you're going to be taking away the surface, and then whenever you do that, then you're going to be taking away, you're going to be cutting the surface down, so then it's going to fade into the letters that you just got through routing. Then it's not going to show up. So that's all I did. And then take your air compressor shop vac, because make sure, I can't stress this enough, make sure before you do that, like I said, several hours, make sure this paint inside these letters is good and dry, because it may look dry, but because you got a pretty good bit of paint to fill in them letters. So if they're not dry, whenever you go to sandpaper it, or whenever you go to sand it, I'm sorry, then that dust is going to mix in with that paint, and it's going to cake up, and then it's going to be hard to get out of there. You're going to have to take a chisel and scrape it all out. Then you're going to have to probably go back and repaint it again. Just make sure that it's dry before you sand it. Alright, so what I'm going to show you real quick is I'm just going to do it on this scrap piece right here. I'm not going to paint it. I'm just going to show you what I've done. So, alright, let's say that this section right here, I'm going to cover up. Alright? And then I'm going to paint this top section. Well, I tape all this off, so that way just that's open. So, then I take my spray paint, spray it, so it's going to get down in the grooves of what I cut out. And then, let's see, I'm almost out of battery, so I'm going to have to hurry this up. Take your rag, wipe it off. That way it's not as thick, and that way you don't have to sand as much. So, alright guys, got my hoodie on. It's a little chilly out here, but I hope y'all enjoyed that video, and maybe I helped teach somebody something. I love doing woodwork. I really do. It's a passion of mine. Doing stuff like that, routing signs, I guess because I'm having to be so steady and pay attention, it actually calms me and it gives me peace. But like I said, hope y'all enjoyed that, and if y'all don't mind, just say a prayer for my family and everything, because like I said, 5 months ago I lost my dad, and I lost my stepmom. So just keep us in your prayers, and we'll see y'all on the next one. So as always, y'all be safe. Semper Fi.